Hello and welcome to episode 8 of INTERPROM Inspired Uplifted with FitSM. I'm Mark Rovers, your host for this episode. And in this episode, we're going to talk about service availability and continuity management, which is the fourth process of this series about fit service management, the FitSM standard, as it was put forward by the European Committee to be precise, to be a lightweight service management standard for anyone in the service provider industry, which is shareware. In other words, a free standard for you to benefit from. Let's dive into what service availability and continuity management is all about per FitSM. And before I do that, let me set the stage as in why is this such an important process, one of the 14 processes you should have in place in your service provider organization. So let's set the stage first and explain the 7 main ways that technology impacts our daily lives these days. Um, Not having technology available, or when there is an interruption in the continuity of a service, it's not a good thing. We all know that. If we start with, for example, the health portion, smarter health tracking these days. Yes, for example, instant feedback and recommendations from devices that can monitor our workouts or even our health as far as our heartbeats. In other words, there's plenty of devices these days that track our health. Now, imagine these devices not being available. Yes, not a good thing. Yes, so it's definitely something that impacts in case those devices don't work. Yes, privacy. Privacy has decreased. Online access has made us more vulnerable. Yes, it's an impact that technology has on our lives. Yes, information is at the fingertips of many of us. Some of us don't even know what information of us is out there that's available to others. Yes, but what about if it's not available? Yes, also not helping when it's about we need that information. But privacy is definitely something else that is impacting the technology is impacting our privacy. Yes. Shopping, yes. We do a lot more online shopping these days than we have ever done before. Yes, it's right there and it's easy to buy. It's just a few clicks, and you swipe a card or pay through a bank transaction. It's another way it impacts our lives. Imagine that's taken away from us, and brick and mortar is the new trend going forward, right? That's almost unthinkable these days a way that that technology is impacting us. Yes, if a certain shopping site is no longer accessible or slow, again, that's not helping. Availability and continuity obviously is important to keep these sites up and running and be responsive. Better access to information. There's an app for almost anything. Yes, it's almost as in what's the app for this information, right? What can I download to do this or that? Yes, the social impact, virtual social lives, social media can make or break a brand's reputation. Yes. If something goes wrong and something fails miserably, it hits social media at lightning speed these days. And it's hard to stop that. Yes. It's another one where technology is impacting our lives. Flexible working through working from home. Yes. Uh, we all went through a pandemic, and I mean, in a way, it was a good thing we were able to work from home. Would this have happened 20, 30 years ago? It would have been so much more difficult to work from home. Yes, technology has impacted a way to work from home. And last but not least, communication, right? In general, communication has improved. Think of online meetings, thinking of the pandemic example. Um, but because of the technology, the means and the ways to communicate have increased tremendously. Yes, there's so much more collaboration that can happen, collaboration platforms, for example. So communication definitely has improved. But let's assume one of these communication platforms is not available all of a sudden, or there's a disruption. Yes, how this impacts our lives these days. It's enormous if you think about this, how technology is impacting our lives, and also how much we depend on technology in so many ways, and we rely on it to be available. And when it's not available, it's almost disastrous sometimes. Yes, definitely not what we want to think of too much. The Uptime Institute did an outage analysis in 2022, and it, it, it these are the results, which I won't read. It's too much information to read. You can pause the video and read it for yourself. But high outage rates remain. Unfortunately, we still experience that, which could sometimes even lead to loss of life. It's very sad. Power-related problems continue. Yes, disruptions in power provisioning. Human error-related outages involve or ignored inadequate procedures. Yes, we just experienced one with some major airlines and major airports um, where there was a human error. Prolonged downtime is becoming more common. Yes, as in outage because of an attack or something. It's becoming more and more as in there it happened again. Outages costing over $100,000 are soaring. Yes, more and more of those. Network issues causing many IT outages. Just the network remains one of those vulnerable components of a service. External IT providers cause most major public outages. Yes, public outages caused by third parties. And there will be at least 20 serious high profile IT outages worldwide each year. It says in that becomes the new norm, unfortunately. Yes, so we'll see here common causes of outages that have to do with network issues, power related issues, human errors, and external federated providers, as in dependency on third parties. In other words, those are the main reasons that we experience outages. Again, if you take into account the previous slide as far as how much we depend on technology, and then offset this with what is causing outages and how it's becoming more the norm than ever before, it's hopefully underlines the importance and stresses on the importance of the process that we're talking about in this episode, service availability and continuity management. What does it mean for your organization when you look at these two previous slides? From a people perspective, you know, definitely make sure people know what the goals and objectives are from a service provisioning. People are competent and that we govern this so we have the right people with the right level of knowledge to make sure that the services that we provide are available and that continuity of these services is ensured. The process portion, something similar can be said as far as goals and objectives. Are we competent when it's about our processes? Do people know what the processes and procedures are? Do we govern those and see where there's room for improvement when it's about our processes? Technology, do we have the right architecture in place? Do we have the right knowledge in place for the management of technology? Also, that needs to be governed. And something similar can be said from a partner's perspective. What is their strategy? Does it align with our strategy? What are their capabilities and competencies? And is that being governed? To what extent can we influence that, of course? So it's these four elements combined that all actually can influence high availability, low availability, that can influence continuity of services. And this is, of course, a very high level picture of looking at how availability of services can be influenced when not having the right people, or not having the right processes or technology, or we're not dealing with the right parties. Yes. So, from a high level perspective, four components to take into account when it's about this process. What does FitSM have to offer? In essence, it asks you to do four things per the standard. It says determine the service availability and continuity requirements, and then review those and see if you can actually commit to these requirements as they may have been put forward by your customer, your end users, and document them in service level agreements, and then have the service level management process take over to manage those agreements, manage these needs and expectations. Service availability and continuity risks need to be assessed. What are the risks to your availability of services and continuity? In other words, identify those and, of course, be on top of it, be ahead of it, preferably. Make sure you have the appropriate measures in place to reduce the probability and impact of identified availability and continuity risks to meet these identified requirements. And then availability of services and service components need to be monitored. So, looking at these four requirements, in essence, what it is telling us is know the context of your organization and know your customer, your consumer, as far as their needs and expectations from an availability and continuity perspective. Plan for these availabilities and service continuity and manage the risks. Yes, we just mentioned that. Determine and implement preventive measures to ensure availability, ensure continuity, and then monitor the availability and continuity to maybe identify trends to make sure that you're ahead of the trends and don't follow the trend. Yes, to prevent things from happening in the first place. Again, thinking of how much we depend on the availability of services and the continuity of services. Hopefully, this was inspiring you to take a closer look at what service availability and service continuity has to say in FitSM. Also benefit from the guidance that comes with FitSM. Go to the fitsm.eu website, download all the documents, it's free. And if you still need more information, I'm more than happy to do an executive brief for you at no charge or do some free coaching for you. But if you say, I'm committed, I want to get certified as an individual, as an organization, happy to help you with that as well. Or implementing these best practices per FitSM through workshops or best practice labs. Either way, just feel free to reach out. We're here for you. I'm here for you if you have questions. Thank you for watching this episode. I hope it inspired, and I look forward to seeing you at a future episode. Thank you.